Well, Dan, it's great to see you again, and it's great to have you here on Virtuosos the Lens. We have many virtuosos, as you know, that have joined Coach in the past and in the present, and it's growing. First and foremost, I want to profess my gratitude to you and your team for the incredible work that you do. So it's great to have you on here.
Thank you.
One of the ways I describe you and Strategic Coach, it's kind of like the person that invented isometric machines. Like you go into the gym, there's a specific machine for your biceps, for your legs, for your shoulders, for this, whatever. You've literally built these very specific exercises and things that help build very specific areas of entrepreneurial muscle or capability. And then you pair it up with incredible coaches who were all your former clients. How do you describe Strategic Coach nowadays?
If I have a unique ability, and I do, it's that I can listen to how entrepreneurs talk about their life, and I can diagram this. I can actually show a picture of how you're thinking about something. Then I attach their experience to the diagram. I just try to create a mirror for the entrepreneur to see how they're thinking about things. And then secondly, what we try to do is whatever activity you're planning in the future, how can we reduce the amount of time that you yourself have to be involved? I consider every entrepreneur to be sort of an artist or a performer, and you don't want Frank Sinatra moving the pianos. You want Frank Sinatra singing. But my big thing is to free up entrepreneurs in 4 particular ways. Number 1, free up their time. And if they can free up their time and get especially thinking time back, then they start making better decisions about how they're making their money. And then we go after freedom of money, and 2 types of money freedoms. One is the quantity of money. Of course, you want more money, but the other thing is the quality of the money, that you actually enjoy the activities that bring you money. And with the first 2 freedoms, then you can have the third freedom, which is freedom of relationship. You've become successful as an entrepreneur because you've made yourself a hero to your customers, your clientele. And so you begin surrounding yourself with people who see you as their permanent partner in designing their free time future. And then the third thing is freedom of purpose. The way you handle your free time is just as purposeful as the work time that gained you the money and the freedom to actually take free time. And we put a lot of emphasis on free time in the program.
Getting a handle on how you manage your time had a direct impact on the kinds of teams and the way you hired people. You ended up hiring better people when you were very conscious about the way you were going to manage your time.
My sense is that at the beginning of an entrepreneurial career, you got to work. You got to put in the time because you don't know the business yet. And I think you have to go through 2 or 3 business cycles, 2 or 3 years, before you get a sense of how the cash flow works and everything else. But the moment that you get a grasp on what the structure of the work is, then you have to introduce the concept of who, not how. The goal that I'm thinking about in my mind, growth goal that I'm thinking, it's a great goal, but I may not be the person to actually take action on this. And you begin looking for, as you mentioned, higher quality team members. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are fixated on the concept that if I'm not on top of it doing it all the time, but what you are is you're probably the worst, most expensive assistant in the world. And what I could see is that you were filled with ideas. You had ideas. One, that luxury travel was going to be a lot bigger in the future. And the big question is, could Matt free himself up to actually do the thinking that was going to empower other people with high skills to do work that actually grew the business? There's a famous test of generals. You have a person who's really, really great at strategy, really, really great at structure, and works all the time, or you have a general who has tremendous vision and is lazy. And all the great generals were actually lazy. They didn't do the hard work. But what they do is they've made sure that the people with the skills were directed in the right direction for the right purpose. You went from being a great craftsman, I think, in 2003 to being a great visionary, a great future creator. And that's what I see your role.
One of the concepts that I still use in a lot of presentations, optimize commodity and optimize experiential, and how the world was polarizing and that death was in the middle.
Yeah.
Like to use luxury an example, you're either Jeff Bezos or you're Bernard Arnault, right?
You either become extraordinary in creating great experiences on a person-to-person level, or you become a commoditizer. But don't go the commoditizing route unless you think you can beat Jeff Bezos. If you think you can beat Jeff Bezos, go for it.
I think the thing that's important for everybody on here to understand is it's not just the actual experience of the travel experience, it's the experience of dealing with you as the advisor, with you and your team.
I introduced a concept, I remember, and it was fairly new in Strategic Coach. It was called DOS, that your customers have dangers. Based on their travel experience, or based on the experiences where they're writing the same size check for what you're asking them to write check for. If a trip's going to cost $50,000, what else do I pay $50,000 for? We don't measure against other trips. We measure against other experiences. So there's a digging down into who is the human being that is the customer here. What are they fearful about? What are they afraid of, the experiences that they've had? And then what kind of opportunities they're looking for. And if you can free up your time so that you can go deep with the clients, you have them forever.
You also talked about how to merchandise it, how to market it, which was to take the natural way in which they do amazing things, but actually name it. And with AI and everything else that's coming, merchandising and marketing the uniqueness of what you do is very important, isn't it?
I was reading this book. It's called The Psychology of Money. Really interesting. Morgan Housel, Housel. He's a financial advisor now. He handles family offices. But when he started, before he was even an entrepreneur, he was a valet parker for a luxury hotel in Hollywood. And he said, what really struck me is that people bought the luxury car to be seen driving the luxury car. But as a valet parker, I don't remember any of the people. I just remember the cars because we got to drive them. People don't actually buy things, they buy experiences. In your business, it's really easy to do. They're going to places they've never been before. And even if they've been there before, they're experiencing them in a new way. That's what you're selling. You're selling the experience. How can you actually structure the experience in such a way that nobody else could possibly structure that experience for them? And that's what they're buying. They're buying the way that you structured their experience.
And even if what you do is not that different, the language in which you put it, the way in which you present it, it really is like art. Like why would I buy this piece of art versus this piece of art?
They have to be freed up to give that kind of personal attention. If they're going to grow, they have to have other people in their team who can give that same type of quality, because you have to give the person experience that you're co-creators of the trip.
When we changed our mission statement in early 2001, and we said the mission of Virtuosos is to turn the profession of travel advisor into a financially and personally rewarding career that can compete with other serious careers. We crushed it. I mean, it's amazing the amount of talent that this network has created over the world. Why do you think we were so successful over the past 20 years? And what do you see as the future of the advising business and how that helps our partners?
What you've done is that your actual target market is your people getting paid for a great career decision. It's kind of like Danny Meyer, who created the unique Union Square restaurants and then all the Danny Meyer restaurants. He said, the best way to guarantee that you're a different kind of restaurant is to make sure that you never treat a customer better than you treat your team. Because, I mean, my team has 90%, 95% more contact with my entrepreneurial customers than I do. They're picking up their experience from the team. So when you take a look at your advisors, and they're the end users of the Virtuoso service, I think that's the reason why it worked. You always had your mind on the right thing. It wasn't how much money can we make from you. It's how can you have the best possible career because of the choice that you've made.
The number one thing that the actual traveler tells us is the single biggest difference between what they would consider to be a transactional travel agent versus a trusted travel advisor is the quality of the debrief after the trip, where it becomes a learning relationship. If that provision of information turns out to be better recommendations, better things, and also just a fun relationship, right? It's a learning relationship.
Yeah. At this stage of my life, I want to be surrounded where I don't have to think about replacing anybody I have in my circle. I want that person to be in my life. I want that person to supply their great skills to this part of my life. What they want to do is be guaranteed because of one relationship that for the rest of their life, they just have really memorable, superb, satisfying trips.
I recently called out the CEO of Booking.com, who literally said travel advisors and whatever have been on the decline, which he didn't even have his facts right. And when you see the AI that's coming, it's gonna fasten the pace. What are you telling entrepreneurs and people about AI today?
This is my experience because I'm 80, and so I've gone through a lot of technology. I'm actually writing a little book, and the title of the book is Technology is Trying Very Hard to Keep Up.
Tell me more. I love that. You're always great with titles like this.
First of all the messages that you're getting about technology are coming from the people who want you to buy their technology. So they're using fear as the main selling point. But my sense is that humans, when you treat them right, have aspirations and they have ways of thinking about things that can't be detected by technology. And that's your great differential in the future. If you as the entrepreneur are treating yourself right, you'll be treating your team right, and your team will be treating the customers right. You won't have to worry about the competition. As a matter of fact, the competition will want to be your customer.
I love your titles and stuff like that get people super interested. What are some of the kind of the new concepts?
One of the things that we've created, it's called the 4x4 casting tool. We say we want all of our team members to design their role. I mean, we're up to about 5 different tests now that kind of say, how do we match this person up with the activities so that they're really good at it? And secondly, they really love doing it. The big thing is that they do this every quarter, what their performance is, what their results are, and then how they can be a hero. And that's also awareness of how they drive other people crazy. And this all happens without any direction from the top. And so every quarter they post their profile for the next quarter. But the other one, Matt, and this is really new, it's called your 2-company secret. You have one company that's actually an R&D company where you're discovering new things. And then what you're doing is you're coming up with processes. Your processes will be very, very interesting to other people. And you can do a collaboration with other people to use your processes. For example, you as the entrepreneur in Virtuoso, you've created a galaxy of different methods to do that. My feeling is that everybody in the travel industry in the world would want to know your way of doing it. What we're doing is showing our entrepreneurs how they can create they can create copyrights, trademarks, but you literally turn every one of your travel advisors and their teams into an R&D lab that's continually feeding you information. There's prizes for that and there's remuneration for that. But I would say Virtuoso is a major R&D lab on the planet regarding luxury travel. And then it's got vast connections. It's got these multiplier connections all over the world. So that's my newest idea.
Dan, thank you so much for joining me today. And thanks for everything that you've done for me and all the virtuosos in the program and the strategic coach and for entrepreneurship in general. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of our partners that are also watching this. And I know that when we have healthy, growing entrepreneurs that are feeding them the kind of clientele that they appreciate and that really values their products and not just the price, it's a win-win for everybody.
Mhm.
Thank you, Dan.
Matt, and I'll see you in one of your 10X workshops.